DC Universe Presents number 9, written by James Robinson, art by Bernard Chang, aka the first part of a Vandal Savage story. So that's a thing. No backstory on this, so I guess jumping right into it, we have yesterday evening where a girl is talking to what I can only assume is a friend, maybe a dad. It's kind of unclear, but he's walking about some boy troubles and stuff like that and studying. And then all of a sudden, they're attacked by someone, an unseen figure. And apparently, she is a senator's daughter who has gone missing. And it fits the MO of a serial killer who's been abducting women and leaves them alive for a while. So they do still have time, but it is not a lot. And we are currently at the FBI headquarters where there is some higher brass. I think his name is Brian Yu. He is walking through this case with an Agent Sage, who is just your Clarice of the story. This is very Silence of the Lambsy. So she's walking through saying, like, all right, so we had a senator's daughter get arrested. You are an expert when it comes to serial killers. You have, like, analyzed them, and you have found several of them. Like, you are extremely good at this. And it's probably because of your childhood. And she's like, yeah, my childhood. Anyway, can we focus on me going out there and doing the thing I need to do? And she's like, yeah, no, totally. I understand. But, you know, I understand that Belle Reve might not be your favorite place, but you might have to go talk to him, if you know what I mean. And she's like, yeah, no, totally. I should probably get going and do that. And he's like, right, but before you do, let me just show you a video of the last people who went and talked to him. And shows two other FBI agents who basically step up and saying, hey, so here's the thing. You have a copycat. And he's talking to a serial killer. And it's Savage. Break the mold, it's Savage. It's not revealed, but it is. So saying, hey, Savage, you've got a copycat killer out there after you. And we want your help to catch him. And he's like, wow, that makes me mad. And he's like, yeah, no, totally. Somebody's copying your techniques. And he's like, no. I don't care what he's doing because he's doing his own thing. You think that I'm so basic that my techniques can just be copied by some no-name? You're the one who's pissing me off here. And he somehow breaks out of his restraints and kills these two FBI agents. So that happened. And immediately Agent Sage is like, I don't think he just did that. I think that was a message meant to me. So I gotta go. So she goes to Belle Reve. The whole island's on lockdown because apparently some guy escaped earlier. But she's just like, look, I'm on a clock here, so it doesn't apply to me. Let me in. And so she gets in. She walks down the halls and gets to Vandal Savage, who she welcomes with, hello, father. Yep, Agent Sage, S-A-G-E, is the daughter of Vandal Savage. S-A-V-A-G-E. Get it? Anyway. This is very dense, but it doesn't really say a lot, so I'm going to be skipping a lot. But just know he's very wordy with how he talks. He's very Hannibal Lecter. So he stands up and he's like, hey, how's it going? You sure have grown up. And she's like, yeah, no, ever since you got caught for those multiple murders when I was 10 years old, and then my mom died soon afterwards. Thanks for that, by the way. And he's like, yeah, right, totally. Also, I know everything about you because they let me read the newspaper in this place. I know you changed your name to Sage. I know that you're an FBI agent who focuses on serial killers. Blah, 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 blah. And I know that there's a copycat killer, and that's the whole reason you're here. It's not just to catch up with me. And so she's like, right, totally, awesome. So are you going to help me or not? And he walks through a few like little light things. He's like, here's the thing. The reason I killed people is because I'm immortal. And she's like, right, yeah, here we go. You're immortal. And he's like, yeah, no, totally. I know you don't believe me, but I am, and maybe when you're old and wrinkly, you'll believe me when I still look at the way I do now. But regardless, I did things, the people I killed, out of worship for my gods. And those gods don't exist anymore. Like, nobody worships them but me. So the reason that this copycat killer's doing things is because he saw me do it. He doesn't know the exact reason why I aligned body parts in a certain way or what I did with those entrails. Like, I did those things for very special reasons. So if you can find the differences between that and why he thinks he's doing it, that's how you're going to catch him. And she's like, okay, I guess that's fine. And she also said how there's one little difference. The killer might have superpowers. And in order to help her, she needs his eyes. And I don't know if she means that literally, but regardless, he stands up and he's like, hey, you know that escaped inmate from today? And she's like, yeah, I think they might still be looking for him. It's like, yeah, they definitely are, because if I was, to escape like this inmate, and I was smart, also like this inmate, I wouldn't go towards places where I could possibly make an escape. I would hang out in the areas they would never think to look for me, aka the highest security section of the prison, which is right where we are. And at that moment, the escaped inmate pops out of the vent and he starts attacking Cassidy, is her name, by the way. Cassidy Sage. So she starts unloading fire, the doors malfunctioning so the guards outside can't get in. And he has some electricity-based superpower. And so she starts just firing off shots. She's just good with a gun. And Vandal's watching on, just like, good, this is great. She eventually ends up throwing a cup of coffee at him and then firing a shot that goes, as far as I can tell, straight through his head. And boom, he's dead. We get a one-panel cutaway to see that the senator's daughter is still alive, but she's being held at like knife point by whoever it is that's doing this stuff. And then we cut to slightly later where Vandal Savage is like, okay, here's the thing. Yes, you can come to me and bring me all the photos you want, but it's not going to do anything. The only way I'm going to be of help is if I'm out there with you. And she's like, that's never going to happen. Are you kidding me? And he's like, that's the deal. Like, that's what we got to do. If you want my help, you have to let me out there with you. And by the way, that's not my only request. I also want you to call me daddy. Vandal's a creep. But I enjoyed this. I really did. In terms of this book, I don't feel like it's quite as interesting yet as Dead Man was. Dead Man was one. Like, this is definitely Silence of the Lambs, so far at least. It's got a couple little differences, but it's going that same sort of route. Dead Man had more philosophical stuff, and I don't even care about Challengers of the Unknown, so whatever for that. But this is still solid. It's definitely a very interesting start to the story. I mean, in terms of Vandal's power, it's just immortality, maybe a little bit of strength, but he's not, like, for all intents and purposes, this story is just a normal person story in a superhero world. So I'm interested to see how they fold that out. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7.5. I do also really enjoy the art in this. It's not my absolute favorite, but it has a cool enough style to it that I feel really fits the tone of the book with not exactly mood shadowing, but just mood lighting, if that makes any sense. The inks aren't too dark anywhere for shadows, but like the light, there's always like a colored light or something like that. So, super cool. Definitely looking forward to reading the rest of this, however long it may go on. And yeah, Vandal Savage, I guess he's a creep.